Okay, guys, so I am back on the internet at home, and it's been a few days. It's been very few interesting and insightful days. Hence, this post for my video diary, which says that um, social inequities and the difficulties faced by poor families with students, with kids in school and things are very real. They're as real as the issue of poverty. So, for example, um, poor families send kids to school on an empty belly. So now they have breakfast programs in public schools for everyone, whether you're poor or middle class. They have breakfast programs in school for everyone. But when it comes to consumer services, um, the issues of poverty, um, when when you're dealing with services geared towards the middle class, there is management and operational inadequacies to address, you know, I would say the lower segment of society. And it's very true. If you are middle class, if you are middle class, there are a lot of redundant alternatives for you to have. All right. If you're a middle class, there are a lot of redundant alternatives for a middle class consumer. For a consumer on the lower end of the spectrum, sometimes only one solution is all you can really afford. And if that solution goes down, there are no redundancies. All right. So management and operational inadequacies are very real when you are addressing the consumer on the on the bottom of the spectrum, at the lower end of the spectrum. Having said that, I don't know. What I'm thinking pertains to Canada, while what I'm saying pertains to the U.S. The rest of what I'm thinking pertains to Canada, but they're just gonna have to figure it out themselves. What the ripple effect will be, and what the solutions are. In terms of in Canada, those people with the high salaries and the power and in the organizations will have to figure it out themselves what their problem is. In the U.S., I'm saying customers on the low end of the spectrum, the difficulties, the management inequalities, and like the options are as real as like needing breakfast in school, right? So it's like we send students, students on the low end of the spectrum go to school on empty belly. What we do is we have a school breakfast program. So that's one example of how public school has addressed like the real shortfallings of being on the lower end of the spectrum. All right. Now, if you are a commercial service that you want to sell, you want to serve that segment, the inadequacies they face are very real. The only way I was able to operate with redundant systems and not just public Wi-Fi, but with full privacy, I had to use my credit card. So after this post, what I also learned is I signed up for a VPN, a personal, virtual, commercial, private network. Now, Consumer Report says everybody ought to sign up for a personal, virtual consumer network. But only, what do they say? Only 38% of American consumers have done that, whereas everybody ought to sign up for it. What is it like? In the U.S., the A VPN, a personal commercial VPN, is like a home monitoring service. So a lot of armchair communications wannabe would say, well, if you sign up for a VPN, for sure they would know your browsing habits. There are a bunch of armchair wannabes because if you sign up for a home monitoring alarm service, they know when you come and go. They can turn on the camera and watch you. They can target your kids and pick up your wife. Can't they? Can a home monitoring service do that? Well, a VPN is the same idea, right? They can read your email. If you say that about VPN, they can read your email. They know the website. It's a bunch of baloney, right? It's a bunch of fucking baloney by a bunch of armchair communications wannabe, right? It's the same thing with a home alarm system. They know when you come and go, right? They know they can turn on the microphone, listen to your wife, and watch your kids in bed and all that stuff. It's just a bunch of fucking baloney, right? Right. That's what, on one, in a famous society, that's what you gotta put up with, is a bunch of fucking baloney. Right, so I signed up for a virtual VPN, all right? So now, when I log on the internet, nobody knows where I go. Ironically, I'm on YouTube right now. All right, so I recommend a VPN, all right? The one I chose cost me, for 2 years worth, $64 American. And I can connect up to 6 devices simultaneously. So I connect to my home Wi-Fi. I log into my VPN on all my devices, including my phone. And then wherever I go, the router and the service provider doesn't know where I end up, right? And you say, well, if you sign up for that, those people running that company know where you go and everything. It's the same argument as home alarm system. You hire an alarm company, they know when you come home and leave. They know when your wife is alone and when your kids is in the bedroom. It's just a bunch of fucking baloney. All right? That is what a mature, experienced professional like me got to deal with, is a bunch of baloney like that. All right? So I'm telling you, the consumer, directly. All right? I'm going to bypass having to go through the rat race with all this fucking baloney. I'm going to tell you, the consumer, directly. All right? A VPN is like a home alarm system. Those people will break into your house just as much as a VPN will break into your computer. All right? We're done with that one. So I recommend you get a VPN. The one service I got cost me 2 years. I get 2 years worth for $64, $62, did I say? $62, $64, right? You can use it in any public Wi-Fi, all right? You connect to their Wi-Fi, you log into your VPN, and everything is totally secure. Wasn't it secure the first time? Yes, it's secure the first time. Like I said, between you, say you go to your bank, right? SSL, right? SSL, it's already encrypted. But then the VPN is a second layer of encryption. So first they gotta break the VPN's encryption, and then they gotta break the encryption between you and the bank website, all right? So I love this format. I can take what I know directly to the consumer instead of having to deal with a rat race full of fucking baloney, all right? So I'm saying, I agree with Consumer Report. Get a personal VPN. It's excellent. Only 38% of consumers have it. Consumer Report says 100% ought to have it. A VPN, some VPNs will prohibit peer-to-peer sharing. will prohibit piracy and other porn stuff. All right, get a VPN. It's worth it. It's great. I can use any public Wi-Fi connection through my VPN service, and I feel doubly secure. That's the type of redundancy system I'm talking about. Only way I felt good, I had to whip out my credit card. All right. Now, if you're on a low end spectrum, no, they don't have any redundancies. Internet service alone is already all they can afford. All right. If you want to play that game, you gotta know that. All right. Of the corporations that are serving the middle class, if they try that thing, that's the type of added work they're gonna have to deal with. And I'm saying management at some of those companies are woefully inadequate to address all customers. All right. They assume you got the best healthcare coverage. They assume you got a gigantic credit card with a big limit. They assume you got 10 ISPs, and they assume you got 20 computers. All right? I'm saying you guys are not crazy. Management inadequate. But you cannot know until you finish school, work 20 years, and then be poor again. All right? So it's a catch-22. You're poor, trying to finish school. You won't know it until you finish school, make lots of money, and then lose it again. All right? So I'm telling you right now, management inadequate. You need redundancy systems. One of the best values you can get is a VPN. Consumer Report 100% endorses using a VPN service. It is just like a home alarm system. They know when you come and go. They don't care, man. They're not in it to be thieves. They're in it to make a living, all right? So I use VPN. I feel excellent. And that's what I found when my internet's down. You know, it's no big deal. Sometimes you gotta send email or talk to people more so than wait around for the service to be back on like a shut-in, all right? It's no big deal, but you do need redundancy systems. So if you've been using public Wi-Fi, you do have one layer of encryption between you and the SSL website. Now you can have 2 layers of encryption with a personal VPN and feel totally secure, all right? Okay, so that's my finding for this week, all right? And man, woefully inadequate. If everything's good towards middle class consumer, stay there. Everything, if you want to serve the lower end of the market, it takes a totally different person with totally different experience and expertise. Otherwise, just go to sleep, collect your paycheck every time. End of story. I am Antu Fuquan. I am back online.